BlackRock just bought like 15 million shares. You can see the institutional ownership is now almost 25%. You're looking at almost 70 million shares out of the 279 million outstanding owned by institutions now. That is obviously, you know, this was 4% this year. We're now at 24%. Something to know. Also, if you look here at the precise amount of shares, I said 15 million, and you can see I have the premium data for you. The transaction day is going to be the 30th of June, excuse me. And your average share price now in total is going to be around 770. And if we look at what the price was on the 30th, you're looking at about, you know, at best, they're getting in the low sevens. That should give you a little bit of confidence in holding, right? BlackRock just bought 15 million shares worth. Then, and look at their total average, right? 770. That's their total average. So that should tell you a little bit about how confident these institutions are. Now you may say, well, Brandon, the portfolio allocation is super low. What are you thinking? This is, I mean, this barely affects their portfolio. That's true, but I also want to direct you to probably the most interesting filing that we have today. This one right here. And this one has almost 1% portfolio allocation, which sounds like not that much, but for these guys, it is. For a stock like Bionano, that is a big risk, and that shows us that these guys have a lot of confidence. You're looking at 357,000 shares by Inspire Advisors. They just added about 150,000 shares again at best, you know, it's on the 30th of June, which is going to be the low sevens at best. So you can see this. I mean, if we just go right here, I don't even love this metric that they do here. I don't. You guys know that you got to be careful when you look at the institutions because it's very late, but still you can't neglect the ownership accumulation score. You're looking at 387 out of 36,000 of them. And if you just look at the recent filings today, the filings are insane. I mean, you're looking at 15 million shares added and we just found out about that today. Almost all of them are adding. And the people who are selling are not selling much. And if they are selling out completely, like Rockefeller, these guys down here, Alpha DNA, these guys, almost all the people who are selling out of us recently, BNGO, they had a very low portfolio, a very low share count. Most of them 400 and less. BlackRock's portfolio allocation is very low. You know, it's extremely low. However, it's 15 million shares. So there's only one thing we can say on this. It's good news. How good? That's up to you to determine. Now, other news, we also have the business support scientist and a couple other job listings, which is it's just more good news. Okay, the company, there's no sign of the company slowing down in terms of business expansion. More work being done, more Saphyrs being manufactured. There's a couple in here that point to that. For example, this one right here, the value stream planner/buyer. These guys are going to be working underneath the senior manager of planning and purchasing, and they are responsible for scheduling manufacturing work orders, planning and sourcing raw materials. I think they're going to start manufacturing more Saphyrs in anticipation or already because they have so many Saphyr orders. That's my opinion. We'll see what next earnings report comes out. I think there's good things to roll behind the scenes. I'm still super bullish. We've gone down a lot. You know why we've gone down, though? Because high growth has. And the earnings, people are sleeping on it. People are sleeping on the earnings. We should have gone up because of the earnings. Anyone with a brain can look at the earnings and say, I mean, almost all people, experienced investors, even non-experienced investors, they're going to look at their earnings, and if they actually read it all and have a brief understanding of a basic understanding of the brief history of the company, or not even that, just know a little bit about the Saphyr and the Bionano, you'll know that this is great progress, and we should have gone up on the news. Absolutely. We haven't done that, and we've just been going down with high growth. We actually went down the day of earnings as well, and the after hours. So that should kind of tell you if you want to sell right now, be my guest. But for me, I'm just as bullish as I have ever been. Now, also, I want to say that they have not actually tweeted or posted on their Twitter in like 7 days. That's really interesting. That doesn't normally happen. In fact, I don't think that has happened in months. I don't think that's happened this whole year, actually. 7 days might be a new record. I know they've done a couple days before, maybe a week. Maybe this is about the tie. But if they don't post here in the next couple days, I wonder if they're changing their marketing strategy or if they're devoting the resources to some big project or what the hell is going on. So that is made. So in the next coming days, we'll be keeping an eye on their Twitter, seeing what's going on there. Validation of optical genome mapping for the molecular diagnosis of FSHD. That title alone is sweet. And if you look at the published date, you're looking at a 9th of August, man. That's 2 days ago. That's beautiful. I mean, that is the diagnosis of FSHD is exactly what you want to see optical genome mapping associated with. And specifically, the last sentence here where it says subsequent optical genome mapping for routine clinical testing from 315 clinical FSHD cases compared favorably to historical result trends. You want to see, and this is, I know it's, I mean, this is, I would say that, and the reason why this is big is because two reasons, right? This is big because number one, you're looking at another study that uses optical genome mapping, and in order to use and to actually have 36 unique DNA specimens from flesh blood samples, that's 36 different genomes, you have to pay $550 to $450 per genome that is sequenced. You also have to have a Saphyr, right? Whether that's through an agreement through the rental and a volume commitment, a sample commitment, or that's through the actual purchase, capital purchase of the actual machine. Whichever one it is, it's got to be one of the two. That's as simple as it gets, and it's money either way. We're making money, and this is why you love the business model. This is why Bionano is something that this is one of the reasons why this is something that you want to cling on to for, I would say, years to come. If you're in any resemblance, if you're at all in a similar investing situation and financial situation as I am, which is someone who's looking to outperform the market long term, that doesn't need this money for the near term, right? This is the opportunity, and this is amazing to see. Although it was accepted and received a while ago, which means the money that they paid us was probably a while ago. They used the Saphyr. This exposure that this article is going to get, and the fact that they already use the Saphyr, means they're not only are they going to be likely to use it again, but also it's likely to bring, I don't want to say a chain reaction, but it could, but at least it's likely to bring some exposure and possible more sales and higher volume through stuff like being more accurate than the historical standard for FSHD diagnosis, like the abstract is saying. So this is great news. I don't know. Obviously, the price isn't going to react to this. Okay, the price. This is like the last thing the price will react to. Trust me, the price does not like reacting to studies or anything about the Saphyr at all, or any good news for that matter, right? At all. For example, the earnings that we got last week. However, this is what you want to see as a shareholder. This is good to see. Nothing crazy, but it's more proof. Another market for us. FSHD diagnosis. Simple as it gets. And with the technical analysis, we closed the day at 6:04. Literally, we closed right above the 21-day SMA at 6:02, and we are still technically in bullish territory. Tomorrow, we need a bounce. We got a beautiful hammer candle on the daily. Now we need to start going green, because the 21-day SMA and 580 down at the $6 to 580. That's a huge level of support. And then after that, obviously, we got 550, and then but below that, I don't know what we got. Right? That's we've got a couple of, we got a couple levels of support here down at 530. There's a couple touch points, but besides that, it's kind of, it's shaky. And the market's crashing, high growth. Obviously, you guys know what I think about the broader markets. There's fears. There's potential market headwinds. You have to have buying power or UVSY or a hedge against the market or whatever it's going to be in case that happens. Tomorrow, we need a bounce. Tomorrow, I think it's likely. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, it's mostly just going to come down to what stocks similar to Bionano will do, particularly these three. And my prediction is that I think there are good things coming after. We closed very strongly today, although it's been shitty. It's been very shitty since we went up on we've gone up since earnings technically, but not because of earnings. There's a key that you have to understand that. But we've still gone down just 3 monotonous going down days. No, not any crazy news really. Even with the Blackrock 15 million shares, even with all of this stuff, that the filings that we're getting, there's nothing crazy going on. It's just boring, monotonous stuff. I think tomorrow we're very primed for a bounce tomorrow. That's my prediction. We'll see if I'm right. But we got a strong close. We closed above the 21-day SMA, confirming as support. And we'll be looking, and we're in a bullish chart pattern as well. We broke out the descending wedge. Price starts all the way up at 720. We'll see if we hit it, but earnings is still not priced in, and I'm still holding all my shares. Here's the portfolio. Let's go ahead and unlock this real quick. And please feel free to check out newsweed.com. Link in the description. 2 links in the description for Newsweed. It's the first link. Feel free to check them out. They are our sponsor, newsweed.com, and on YouTube. Thank you all so much. There's the portfolio. It's not financial advice. I will see y'all in the next one.